Step 1 Liberty Quarter Dollar 1970D. United States of America. If you have ever emptied a handful of old American coins onto a table, there's a chance you have overlooked a remarkable piece of history without even realizing it. The 1970 D. Washington quarter was struck during an era when the United States was experiencing dramatic cultural, technological, and economic change, and every coin leaving the Denver Mint became a small ambassador of that moment in time. Although millions entered circulation, each surviving example has followed its own unique journey through cash registers, family collections, forgotten drawers, and decades of everyday commerce. What makes this particular quarter fascinating is not the expectation of instant value, but the stories hidden within its metal, the quality of its strike, and the subtle differences that collectors patiently search for. A coin that once purchased a simple everyday item may now inspire careful examination because time has transformed an ordinary circulating piece into a collectible artifact representing American craftsmanship and history. The excitement begins not with extraordinary claims, but with the realization that even a common coin can become historically meaningful when viewed to the eyes of a collector. Produced at the Denver Mint and identified by the small D mint mark on the obverse, the 1970 D. Washington quarter belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series honoring the first president of the United States. The obverse displays John Flanagan's enduring portrait of George Washington, while the reverse presents the iconic heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches beneath the words United States of America and quarter dollar. Unlike earlier quarters minted before 1965 that contained 90% silver, the 1970 D issue was struck using a copper core bonded between outer layers of copper nickel, creating the familiar silver-colored appearance seen in circulation while eliminating precious metal content. This change reflected a practical response to increasing silver prices and growing demand for circulating coinage, making the 1970 D quarter an important representative of America's transition into the modern clad coinage era. Although the official design remained consistent, no two surviving examples have aged in exactly the same way. Some coins spent decades changing hands, accumulating scratches, rim marks, and softened details from constant circulation, while others remain tucked away in rolls, albums, or original bank storage where much of their original mint luster survived. Collectors often appreciate examples displaying bright cartwheel luster, crisp lettering, sharply defined hair details on Washington, and a reverse eagle showing strong feather definition with minimal contact marks. Tiny differences in strike pressure, die wear, and production quality can give one coin noticeably sharper details than another struck on the very same day, making careful comparison one of the most rewarding aspects of the hobby. The manufacturing process itself also adds another layer of intrigue. Every working die gradually wore down as thousands of planchets passed beneath enormous striking presses, and subtle changes could appear over time through die polishing, die cracks, minor doubling, or other production characteristics. While most 1970 D quarters were produced exactly as intended, authenticated mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, or significant double die varieties naturally receive greater attention because they represent unusual events during the minting process rather than ordinary production. Genuine error coins require careful verification, since post-mint damage can sometimes resemble mint-made varieties, making professional authentication especially important before drawing conclusions about rarity or value. As interest in coin collecting continues across generations, the 1970 D. Washington quarter remains a popular date for both beginning collectors and experienced numismatists. Many enthusiasts search through inherited collections, estate holdings, coin rolls, and dealer inventories hoping to locate unusually well-preserved examples with exceptional eye appeal. Preservation plays a tremendous role in collector demand because high-grade coins retaining original surfaces, attractive luster, and minimal were considerably less common than heavily circulated pieces. Certified examples graded by respected professional grading services often provide buyers with greater confidence regarding authenticity and condition, helping establish a more reliable foundation for evaluating collector interest in today's marketplace. When discussing values, it is important to remain realistic and rely on current market observations rather than speculation. Most circulated 1970 D. Washington quarters trade close to their face value or only modest collector premiums depending on condition, while attractive uncirculated examples may command higher prices among collectors seeking quality pieces for albums or registry sets. Authenticated high-grade coins with outstanding preservation or verified mint error examples may attract stronger collector attention and, in some cases, achieve significant auction or private sale values when rarity, certified grade eye appeal, and active collector demand align. However, every price discussed in the hobby represents only an estimate based on collector discussions, auction records, dealer listings, and prevailing market activity at a particular time, and no future value or selling price can ever be guaranteed. Before assuming that any quarter is unusual, collectors are encouraged to examine it carefully under proper lighting. Observe the overall weight using an accurate scale. Study the metal appearance for any unusual characteristics. Inspect the strike alignment. Evaluate the rim for irregularities. And compare the lettering and date with known reference examples. Magnification can reveal details that are invisible to the naked eye, but even experienced collectors recognize the importance of independent verification whenever a potentially valuable variety or mint error is discovered. Professional authentication or grading remains one of the most reliable ways to confirm originality, identify significant varieties, and provide confidence before making any buying or selling decisions involving collectible coins. Step 2 in STAP, Lost Liberty Quarter Dollar 1980D. United States of America, the 1980 D Liberty Quarter Dollar quietly entered circulation during a fascinating period in American history when everyday pocket change carried stories that few people stopped to notice. Struck at the Denver Mint, this Washington quarter became part of millions of daily transactions, traveling through grocery stores, gas stations, banks, and family cash registers, while the nation entered a new decade of technological change and economic uncertainty. Most people handle these coins without a second glance, yet every surviving example preserves a small piece of the country's numismatic history. Its familiar appearance often causes collectors to overlook it first, but careful examination reveals subtle characteristics that distinguish exceptional examples from ordinary circulated pieces. Like many classic circulation coins, the true fascination does not come from its face value, but from its journey through history, the quality of its strike, and the possibility that some examples escape decades of were in remarkable condition. The obverse displays the enduring portrait of George Washington, originally adapted by sculptor John Flanagan, whose design has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. The word Liberty arches prominently above Washington's portrait, while In God We Trust appears to the left and the date 1980 rests below, accompanied by the small d mint mark identifier production at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, a bold eagle stands proudly with wings spread, clutching arrows while olive branches symbolize the nation's desire for peace balanced with readiness to defend itself. Around the rim, United States of America and quarter dollar frame the design, while E pluribus unum appears above the eagle. Every element was carefully engraved to withstand years of circulation, and although countless examples experience heavy use, coins displaying unusually sharp details continue to capture the attention of dedicated collectors. The 1980 D quarter was produced using a copper core bonded between outer layers of copper nickel, giving the coin its familiar silver-colored appearance, while reducing reliance on precious metals after the composition changes introduced in the mid-1960s. Each coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and features a reeded edge that helps protect the design while discouraging edge alteration. During production, thousands of dies were used as enormous minting presses struck planchets with tremendous pressure every minute. Even with advanced equipment, slight differences naturally appear from die to die, creating variations in strike sharpness, surface texture, and overall eye appeal. These small manufacturing differences have become part of the excitement surrounding modern coin collecting because careful observation often reveals details invisible during ordinary circulation. As decades passed, the overwhelming majority of 1980 D quarters accumulated scratches, contact marks, worn high points, and dull surfaces from everyday commerce. However, a much smaller number remained tucked away inside original mint sets, coin albums, or long-forgotten collections, preserving brilliant luster and crisp design elements. Collectors often compare examples under magnification, studying Washington's hair detail, the eagle's feathers, rim quality, lettering sharpness, and the overall strength of the strike. Coins that retain vibrant mint luster with minimal distractions generally attract greater interest than heavily circulated pieces. While many pieces appear similar at first glance, experienced collectors understand that tiny differences in preservation can dramatically influence desirability within the numismatic community. Another source of fascination involves genuine mint errors and unusual production varieties. Although most 1980 D quarters were struck normally, authenticated examples displaying off-center strikes, clip planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, double design elements, or other verified minting anomalies may receive considerably more attention from specialists. These unusual pieces represent unexpected moments during the manufacturing process rather than intentional creations, making each verified error unique in its own way. Because damage occurring after the coin entered circulation can sometimes resemble mint errors, collectors are encouraged to study diagnostic features carefully and seek professional authentication before reaching conclusions about rarity or value. Responsible examination helps separate legitimate mint-produced varieties from ordinary wear or accidental damage. When the conversation turns toward value, it becomes important to recognize that market prices constantly change according to collector demand, certified grade, rarity, eye appeal, and recent auction activity. Most circulated 1980 D quarters remain worth only modest amounts beyond their face value, while attractive uncirculated examples may command higher premiums depending on quality. Certified high-grade coins, especially those receiving exceptional numerical grades from respected grading services, occasionally sell for substantially stronger prices than ordinary examples because far fewer survive in elite condition. Likewise, authenticated mint error coins or especially desirable varieties may attract competitive bidding in auctions or private sales. These values are always estimates based on collective discussions, auction records, and current market observations rather than guarantees, and no future selling price can ever be predicted with certainty. Anyone examining a possible collectible example should begin with careful observation rather than assumptions. Verify the coin's approximate weight using an accurate scale. Inspect the copper-nickel surfaces for unusual characteristics. Confirm proper strike alignment. Study the rim for abnormalities, and compare the lettering with reliable reference material. Good lighting and moderate magnification often reveal details that remain hidden to the naked eye. If a coin appears unusually well preserved or displays features that might indicate a genuine mint error, professional authentication or grading provides a more dependable assessment before making any buying or selling decisions. This careful approach protects collectors while contributing to a more accurate understanding of the coin's true characteristics within today's numismatic marketplace.